What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Baltimore Ravens Rundown. My name is Joey Petersen. Got an at-home video out as quickly as we can because we got some pretty big breaking news as Lamar Jackson is not going to be playing tomorrow against the Chicago Bears. This will be the third straight game that he's missed, and he had a bye week in there to get nice and healthy as well. So unfortunately, this injury is just a little bit more serious than I think we all anticipated. I know John Harbaugh, before that bye week, was pretty certain that he was going to be back by week 8 against Chicago, and unfortunately, that is not the case. This news isn't necessarily surprising, as we saw that line drop from 7.5 points all the way down to 3 points, moving in favor of Chicago over the last 24 hours. So we knew that this was probably going to be the result of the injury report, result of his injury status, but here we are nonetheless. You got to play Chicago Bears in about 24 hours, and you got to do it again without Lamar Jackson. Tyler Huntley will be the starting quarterback, though, over Cooper Rush. We're going to break down it all on today's show. Again, trying to get you these videos out as quickly as possible. I'm on a friend's bachelor trip right now in the middle of nowhere, Texas, but hey, when breaking news happens, we've got you covered right here. So if you have not subscribed, make sure to change that right now. Hit that subscribe button. It is 100% free to do so. So I will start by saying this. With Tyler Huntley being the starting quarterback, I feel a lot better about this team's chances than I did if Cooper Rush was the starting quarterback. Okay, I'm just going to start there. I know we don't want to be positive. We don't want to be optimistic. It feels like the sky is falling because you're 1-5. You're about to play a team who's won 4 straight games. And if you fall to 1-6, there's only one team in the history of the National Football League that has made the playoffs after starting 1-6. You're at a do-or-die point of this season. And that's why I kind of thought all week long leading up to this was Lamar Jackson's going to play. Even if he's not 100%, we're just at a point in the season where you cannot lose football games. That tells me that this injury is a little bit more serious than I think a lot of us anticipated. Because if he was anywhere close to 100%, I think he was going to play this football game. Because like we said, they need to win this. But obviously, they're giving him one more week of rest, and we'll see where he sits with Thursday Night Football. Just what, 5 days from now? That game's on the 30th. Today's the 25th. You play the Dolphins in 5 days. You play the Bears tomorrow. And, those are 2 winnable games. But it's going to be a lot harder to win those games without Lamar Jackson. Tyler Huntley, though, I think gives this team a pretty good chance to do so. We saw him in the game against the Los Angeles Rams, and it just gave the offense a little bit more juice. I just think he fits the style of this team so much better because he is so similar to Lamar Jackson. Obviously, they both have the running element to their games, and it just feels like that is kind of the style of this offense. Have a quarterback in there that can make plays with his legs. I don't think this offensive line is good enough to have a pocket passer back in there at the quarterback position. If you had an unbelievable offensive line that gave you loads and loads of time to sit back there in the pocket, scan, go through your progressions, find the open receiver, deliver that pass, that would work. But with Daniel Faalele and Andrew Voorhees as the starting right guard and left guard of this team, in my opinion, that just doesn't do it. Cooper Rush doesn't fit because of that. Again, I would have faith in Cooper Rush if he had a good offensive line, but he just does not have enough time to sit back there and throw a pass. And we know, good and well, Cooper Rush is not making any plays with his legs, okay? I'm not fast whatsoever. I got a good feeling I could beat Cooper Rush in a 40-yard dash. Maybe getting ahead of myself, but I think you guys probably agree with me as well. You're in a tough spot. I'm going to shoot you straight. I'm not going to lie to you. This is not where we thought this season was going to go. This is not where we thought we'd be. But the Chicago Bears, although they have won 4 straight games, although they're playing some pretty good football right now, this is not a 100% loss to them. I think we saw some good things from our defense against Los Angeles. We finally saw a unit that looked competent. We finally saw a unit that was able to force a turnover, able to get to the quarterback, able to make some plays. And that's exactly what you're going to need. You're just going to need some guys to make plays. Offensive side of the football, defensive side of the football. You're going to need Derrick Henry to have a crazy day. You're going to need these wide receivers like Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, DeAndre Hopkins to make some big plays when the ball gets in their hand. Who can turn a 3-yard slant into a 70-yard touchdown? That's what I wanted to see, okay? Can the defense come up, start creating some turnovers? You've created 3 so far this season. That is second to last in the NFL. That needs to change. You need to be able to turn the football over and put your offense in some places where they can have a little bit easier success. That way they get the ball at the 45-yard line instead of getting it at the 20, You only got to drive 50 yards to put it in the end zone instead of a full 75 yards with Tyler Huntley at quarterback. Can you make some stops? Can you get to the quarterback? You only have Kyle Van Noy, David Ajabo, Mike Green are edge rushers. Can we finally see something happening from Mike Green? You're coming off of a bye week. You got a lot of guys healthy. Hell, Lamar Jackson's really the only guy you're not going to have back in this offense. Ronnie Stanley's going to be back. Patrick Ricard's going to be back. That's going to be massive, massive, massive for this game on Sunday. I want to see them give the ball to Derrick Henry 100 times. Because we saw him play phenomenally against Los Angeles. I think we saw a lot in that game against the Rams that we can have confidence in. But what'd you do on offense against LA? You turned the football over. Cooper Rush had a bad interception. Zay Flowers had 2 fumbles. That cannot happen. If you lose the turnover battle tomorrow without Lamar Jackson as your starting quarterback, you will lose the game. In my opinion, that's going to be a massive part of Sunday's matchup against Chicago. Can you win the turnover battle? I don't know, man. I don't want to have faith in this defense because they showed me so much the first 5 weeks of the season to not have faith. But I also don't want to look at the last time you saw this team on the field against LA where they held them to 17 points. I don't want to just look at that and say that's 100% fool's gold. It feels like it is because of what we saw in the beginning of this year. But then at the same time, you want to have a little bit of faith. And if they can make some plays happen, I think you can win this ballgame. But you got to be smart. You got to limit penalties. There were so many penalties from the offensive line, whether it was a false start, whether it was a holding that just absolutely ruined drives. You cannot commit stupid mistakes, stupid penalties, turnovers, special teams mishaps. When you're playing a game in a team like Chicago, and you don't have Lamar Jackson, you have to play as close to perfect football as you can to win that ball game. And you're going to have a chance to. You're going to have a chance to. You have to. That's the crazy thing. You've put yourself in this situation where you can't lose football games anymore. You just cannot do it. You've already lost enough. You are 1-5. You blew that game against the Buffalo Bills. You didn't show up against Detroit late. You didn't show up plain and simple against Chicago. And then you played 2 games without Lamar Jackson. Now that's about to be 3. You put yourself in a really bad situation. But I think games like these separate the good teams from the great ones. Can you find something deep within yourself to pull this football game out? Can you win this ball game? John Harbaugh, I'm looking at you. Kyle Hamilton, I'm looking at you. Derrick Henry, Roquan Smith, the leaders of this football team, I'm looking at you. Can you win this ball game? Because if you just look at these 2 teams from a talent perspective, with all the injuries that Chicago's dealing with, and they've got a laundry list of injuries on their own, you still match up from a talent perspective very, very well with this team. I'm not waving the white flag by any means. I think this is the great decision by this football team to go with Snoop Huntley tomorrow in that starting quarterback position. But I'm also not going to lie to you and tell you that you got a good shot to win this football game because we haven't seen enough from this team to make us have confidence in that. Todd Monken, red zone offense, it's got to be much improved. It has to be. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. When you get in the red zone, you have to convert that into a touchdown. You got in the red zone 3 times against Los Angeles. You came away with 3 points. 1 field goal. That's all you got. You got stopped on 4th and 1 on the goal line. You also went for it on 4th down another time, and you didn't get in there. People got to step up. When you're missing your leader, when you're missing your best player, everybody has to step up and help in the aggregate. Can you do that tomorrow? That's the big question. You win tomorrow's game, maybe you have Lamar Jackson back for Thursday Night Football. Who knows? But you're in this spot because you put yourself in it. I'm not going to sit here and feel bad for them. That's going to do it for today's show. Appreciate you guys for hanging out with us. Again, we try to get you the news as quickly as we can anywhere we are. So if you have not subscribed, make sure to change that today. If you want the Ravens to win, make sure to like that video.